I thank you, everybody, and welcome to the Ocean Race Summit. We are virtually live here from Newport, Rhode Island, and I have the pleasure of being with two really important people in the sailing world. Mark Towill of the 11th Hour Racing Team, CEO of the 11th Hour Racing Team. Mark's been around the planet twice in the ocean race, last two ocean races. And Peter Burling, America's Cup winning helmsman, gold medal, silver medal, and just missed out on the big three with a near miss on Brunel in the last ocean race. First of all, welcome to you both, and thanks very much for being here today. Listen, I had my own moments going around the world. I did 2.5 laps around the planet, and I saw some incredible things. The garbage in the water in India and the Malacca Straits, the watercolors, the lack of wildlife in some parts of the world. But I really want to get your overall experiences, because you guys are both not only as individuals in the sport of sailing, but you're both obviously representing bigger environmental impact groups. Start off with Mark here. 11th Hour Racing, 11th Hour Racing Team. Tell us a little bit about the mission statement of that group and how is it trying to make its biggest impact and effect.
Thanks for having me, guys. And we're really excited about the opportunity that we have ahead of us here with the 11th Hour Racing Team. One of our main missions is to demonstrate that being competitive in high-level sport and really prioritizing sustainability aren't mutually exclusive. And actually, it's to our benefit, the way we see it, to be leaders in this space. We're putting together what we hope to be a race-winning campaign and trying to do all of the right things technically and operationally, but very mindful of the impact that we're having and trying to make good decisions.
And Peter, you and Blair Tuke, your longtime sailing partner, put together a foundation called Live Ocean. Can you give us a little background as to, first of all, why and what do you foresee in the near future as to what kind of impact you guys can make?
Yeah, when growing up in New Zealand, I always spent a lot of time in and around the ocean. Always been incredibly passionate about it. So many of my hobbies take me out on the ocean, and then more recently sailed around the world. Got back to New Zealand. Felt I really wanted to be part of a positive change, and after a bit of research, the more we got into it, the more we feel like we didn't even have a choice. We had to get into it straight away. So Blair and myself founded Live Ocean, and our mission is really protection and restoration, and for New Zealanders to lead this issue to the world. And that's something that we've been incredibly passionate about. Protecting our playing field and how sport can connect people to environmental issues, and it's been a really amazing journey.
So Mark, it's daunting trying to figure out as an individual what you can do to help and what you can do to create change. So give us a little idea as to how you see individuals actually working into this environmental impact.
Yeah, well, from our perspective, we see a big opportunity with teams and events, and from our perspective, there's a lot that can be done. The first step is education, and that can be daunting because there's just so much that's happening in the ocean. It's a very dynamic situation right now, and one, quite honestly, that's pretty daunting when you start to get into it. But we see that as an opportunity. We've got a lot of smart people in our team who have put together some amazing plans. We've got a lot of an entire operational document, and we're more than happy to share all of that. So all of that's on our team website. We really focused on being as open source as possible with all this stuff, and hope that we can lead by example and encourage others to join in as well.
Peter, if you were to go in front of the United Nations and try to create policy change, or even your own government down there in New Zealand, what would you say? What kind of policy change can be made in a big, encompassing way?
Yeah, well, good question. I think I'd definitely start off with telling them to listen to the science community. It's incredibly clear the urgency of the issue and how close we are to the tipping point. I think in New Zealand, we've proven that we can, as a nation, take decisive action against an issue. We've proven this through COVID, and I think it is incredibly clear, how many things we can do to resolve, some of the issues that the ocean's facing. The most obvious one in New Zealand is marine protection areas. We're the first, country to have a marine protection area, and now we only protect, 0.4 of our ocean. We've got a massive ocean space, and the science community is telling us we need to protect 30% of it by 2030. So, my question would be, how do we achieve that, and why aren't we following the facts that the science community is laying out to us?
So, final question, guys. People always want to know about our experiences. We're the ones that get to go sail around the world, and like I said, there's some pretty bad stuff out there. Mark, what was your oh my God moment when you sailed around the world, where you decided right then and there that the environment is kind of broken?
It's a great question, Ken. And for me, that aha moment was in my first edition of the ocean race that I competed in, sailing, down the coast off of India and through the Malacca Straits into Asia. In part of the world that really hadn't had a lot of experience racing in before. And, just looked so incredibly different from anything I'd ever seen. We felt like we could have literally stepped off the boat and walked ashore on these big pieces of marine debris, all kinds of fishing nets and everything else intertwined in between. And it just felt such a heavy weight and a responsibility to do something about that. And coming off of that experience and learning a little bit more about it, there's actually so much more happening beneath the surface that most people don't see or realize. And it as Pete said, it really is time. We are at a tipping point, and there really needs to be more done about it. So we hope that in some small way our team can be leaders in that change.
Same question, Peter.
Yeah, well, I'm probably slightly different, and the thing that scared me most was what I didn't see. We'd talk to people that have done the ocean race in the past, and not just in the recent past, and quite early days. We listened to some of the recordings of Blake going around the world, and you're just expecting to see massive marine life. A lot of whales, a lot of albatross. I could probably count I could count the amount of whales I saw going around the world on one hand. I was scared by the lack of albatross, especially in the South Pacific. Didn't really see any tuna jumping, it's just talking to people that have done the race, and it's, early editions, the change between now and then has just been absolutely incredible. It's something that we really have this issue of these sliding baselines. We look at something a year before, and the next year it doesn't look that different. But if you actually take a big step back and talk to people that were there, 50 years ago, the difference to where we are now is, pretty scary. I think that's something that, like Mark said, this shows you how urgent this issue is. The ocean does so much for us. It creates so much of the oxygen, absorbs so much of the heat, and we really need to look after it.
Guys, thank you for putting your money where your mouth is, so to speak. We appreciate you guys stepping up in a big way. The health of the ocean is obviously imperative for our sport, and it's how we make our living, and it's how we have our fun. And like you say, it's a human endeavor as well.